Someone is raising their hand.
Is that
Someone is raising their hand.
okay? All right, please ask a question.
Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, sorry, the last part I don't understand.
Okay,
Why is it -1?
okay. Let me do a quick recap so I will explain everything.
Okay.
Let's start. So what we want to do is when the user clicks on this, we want to display whatever is here, we want to display it inside this input. So all of this, they are calling on a single function using parameterized function. We are just passing the value here as the value of num. If I click on this button, 1 will be sent as the value of num. If I click on this, 2 will be sent as the value of num. If I click on this, 3. If I click on this, plus. So how this works is that when I click on anyone, whatever is here will be sent as the value of num. And we are now saying result, which is this input, dot value, set the value to result dot value again plus num. So it's going to concatenate num with it and set it back. So I think someone wants to join. Mr. Blessing, welcome, sir.
Ẹ ṣé o.
Yes, sir. Good to have you here.
Àdúpẹ́ sà.
Yes, sir.
Otondo, you are welcome, sir.
Pastor Eye, ẹ kúlé.
Happy New Year, sir.
God bless sir. Same to you.
Okay, let's proceed. So what you're doing is when you click on any of this, it's going to take whatever is here, set as the value of num, and you know that this is the same as saying result of value plus num equals result of value equals to result of value plus num. So meaning it's going to take whatever it sees here, concatenate num with it, and set it back. So we are done with all of this now. Let's now come to this equal sign. This equal sign is going to evaluate result as value and set it back. Then this clear screen we just set result as value to empty string, and that clears everything. Then delete last. When we click on this button, we want to delete or remove the last character. So what this is going to do is we created a variable called screen value, and we are saying let screen value be result dot value. Next is this. I said something that what we want to do is let's assume this result as value is like this. Let's say is this. I want to remove this letter G. So what you can do is we want to start from 0. This is the first character. And we want to end it at, let's count, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what to do something like this, slice 0, 7. So you know that it's not going to include this G. Since I told you that the first value is inclusive, but the second value is not inclusive. So it's not going to include this 7. It starts from 0 and it ends at 7. So let's assume that the value is Taiwo. What you want to do is you want to do something like this, slice, start from 0 and end at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and end at 4. Again, the first one is inclusive, the second one is not inclusive. So this is the situation we find ourselves. So how then do we now make it dynamic? If we just put 0, 4 on the screen, well, it's not going to handle this blessing very well. And if we put 0, 7 on the screen, well, it will handle Taiwo very well. So we want to make it dynamic so that instead of putting 4 and 7 here, it will be able to know that, oh, put the right thing here. So what we're going to do is this. The number of characters here, you know the length of this is 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 minus 1, that's 7. It's okay for this. Then the length of this, remember I said the length of the string is the number of characters in that string. So the length of this is 5. And we can say 5 minus 1, that is 4. So we can now say calculate the length, then subtract 1 from it, and that gives us the result we want. So instead of saying this, we can say string value dot length, calculate the number of characters there, the length, then subtract 1 from it. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it's going to now start from 0 and end. It's going to end at a character less than this. So this is going to work fine for this, and it will also work fine for this. So, and I said another way is just to say 0, minus 1 like this is still fine. Let's copy this. You can also write it like this, 0, minus 1. What this minus 1 is going to do is minus 1 we start counting from the last character. It's going to start counting from the end like this. Oh, sorry, let's say I have lesson. This G is minus 1, this N is minus 2, this I is minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, and like that. So this minus starts counting from the last character. So you can also write like whichever one you are okay with. You still have the same results. So okay, let me leave it there in case you need it. So I can clear the whole screen. This will clear everything. So I can delete, then I can delete. Question before we move to today's task. What we want to learn today.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I want to ask this question. Like in my calculator now, how would I put it? I created 2 div, one for output, one for like as in one is for output, then one is for input that shows what I am typing or the key I am pressing on the calculator.
Okay.
But it's clear that most of us created just one div, which is output. So I want to ask, which one is better? Well, which one is better? Because I feel that the reason why I didn't do mine in that way is because I feel that sometimes we want to actually see the operations that the output is giving you. But if I decide to do it that way, I will only see the result. I won't see the operations that the output is showing me. So that's why I decided to create that. The 2 divs, so that when I'm seeing the result, I can as well see the combination of operations that is giving me the result. So I want to know. I'm just seeking your opinion. Which do you think is better?
Okay.
Should I leave it that way, or I should go with majority?
Okay. On that, let me say something about that. Really, as a software developer, really, we are not wired to be cool with user experience. I mean, that's why most times we work with other people. I may see it this way, and another person will see it that way, and it's still fine. But then, the product designer now will tell us what to do. Give me this for the best user experience. Everything is because of user experience. Okay, when a user is using this, what will be the best user experience? I may not be able to consider that while developing mine. Another person, why developing his or hers, we look at it from that part. Oh, what if the user has this issue? What if? So at the end of the day, it depends on how much you're able to consider the user while developing, and that's why we need product designers and other people, UI UX developer and all of those people, UI UX designer and all of those people to help us to structure things out. Then we now start working. Most time developers, or as a software developer, we work based on what has been given to us. We just try to produce is that this is the problem, they will give us the problem, then we solve it and give it to them based on whatever is given to us. So we may not be able to think in depth in that, considering user experience, because most times we just start thinking, okay, what's the best way? Do you get it, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm just trying to say that we need other people to still work with us in this field, and they make the work much easier so that we don't start thinking about. See, even after developing, there are a lot of things you won't even consider. There are lots when it comes to user experience. You are just thinking about making this work,
Yeah.
making this work. So, but then other people will help us to do this thing. We need other people to work with us for the best user experience.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, for today's task, we want to go to if statements. If statements. Let's discuss how that works. If statement. If statement is used to write conditional statements. What does that mean? If we say alert 5, if I run this code 1,000,000 times, it will always alert 5. But with conditional statements, you may want to alert 5 if some certain conditions are met. That is, if this thing happen, then do this. If another thing happen, then do that. Every day we run conditional statements. Every day. So let's assume, as I'm taking this class, there is a huge sand. I hear a huge sand, then most likely I will pause the class. Meaning that the only reason why I'm taking this class is because everything is fine. But let's assume things aren't fine. Like, if everything is not fine, then I may have to stop the class. Conditional statement is that if this is met, then do this. If this is not met, then don't do it. In JavaScript or in programming generally, conditional statement is very, very important. I think after functions, it may be the next thing you will be using the most. After functions, it may be the next thing you'll be using the most. So we want to look at conditional. Some people even argue that you use this more than functions, which is fine. Whichever one, you are going to be using if statement a lot. Let's see how this works. Let's assume, a good example is this. We started this class by 8:30. So the conditional statement is if it is 8:30, start the class. Meaning that if it is not 8:30, the class will not start. So that's a conditional statement. Once it is 8:30, start the class. So the first thing we need to do is to check the time whether it is 8:30. Then if it is 8:30, start the class. If it is not 8:30, then don't start. So let's do that together. So the way if statement is, in if statement, the first thing you write is if. Is a keyword. If. Then what you want to check for the condition. If, then you put the condition here. So if this condition is met, then it's going to do whatever is here. If condition is met, it will do this. So when you want to write if statement, you first write if, then you put the condition in a bracket like this. So if the condition is met, it will do what is have inside these curly braces. In that JavaScript textbook, I explained it there that if statement has 3 parts. It has 3 parts. The first part is this if. The second part is this brackets. Let me remove these curly braces for now. The second part is this brackets. So that takes the condition. If the condition is now met, then it will do whatever you have inside these curly braces. So let's now use our scenario, our own case to write it. If first, if it is 8:30, so is the time 8:30, 8:30 p.m. So if this condition is met, then we now say start class. So number 1, if. Number 2, check the condition. So meaning that if the time is not 8:30, it's not going to call this, it's not going to do this start class. It will only do this start class if the time is 8:30. Do we understand?
Yes, sir.
Please, are we getting it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's move on now. Let's now say we have a variable. And the variable a is, let's say, 5. We can say if a is greater than 2, alert hello. So if I run this code, what will I see on the screen?
Hello.
Hello, good. Because
Hello.
a is actually greater than 2, this condition is
Sure.
met. Let's move on. But let's now assume the value of a is 1. Is 1 greater than 2?
No.
So because this condition is not met, it's not going to run the quotes inside these curly braces. It won't. So for that reason, it won't alert hello. Any question?
No question.
Okay, let's move on. Next is this. Let's look at the less sign. The greater than is a conditional operator. We also have the less than sign. So we can say if a is lesser than 2, alert hello. Of course, this one we alert hello since 1 is lesser than 2. Next, we have the less than or equal to. What this is going to do is it will check the value of a and see whether it is either less than 2 or it is equal to 2. So this will alert hello, and even if the value of a is also 2, it will still alert hello, because the condition says if a is lesser than or equal to 2, alert hello. Then we also have the greater than or equal to. This will also alert hello, since the value of a is equal to 2. The greater than or equal to 2, we do whatever is here, if any, whether it is greater than 2 or it is lesser than 2. So we have the less than or equal to, we have the greater than or equal to. Next thing we want to look at is the double equal to, or is the equal sign. Good, is the equal sign. Now we want to do something. If a is equal to 4, alert hello. So normally when you run this, what do you should it alert hello or not? I'm asking us now.
If a equals to 2, variable a is 2, so I don't think it will alert hello.
Okay. So normally we don't expect this to alert hello. Let's run this together. Now what's going on? It alerts hello. So let's explain that part. Well, what happens is this. A is 2. Remember, this equal to is an assignment operator. This will actually change the value of a to 4. It will assign 4 back to a. Remember, when you write something like this, a equals 4, it means the value of a should change to 4. So that is what is happening here.
Yeah.
So you can't use single equal to like this to check. You only want to check. You are not trying to assign. You only want to compare. So for that reason, JavaScript has provided another syntax to do that. That is the double equal sign.
Okay.
So this only compares. It doesn't assign. A single equal to assign, but the double equal to compares. So this is going to check the value. It will only check if a is equal to 4, and if it is 4, then it will alert hello. But if it's not 4, it won't. So let's run this. It's not displaying hello. Then let's go to the next one. Now let's look at this. So what we are doing here is we set the value of a to 2, but this 2 is a string. And we are checking if a is 2, but this 2 is a number. So normally, well, you may think that this should not alert hello since this is not the same as this. You may think. But in JavaScript, it will still alert hello. The reason is because most times JavaScript only deals with the value, not the data type. That is why it's possible for me to do something like this in JavaScript. I can say 8 times 3, and this will give me 24. This is not possible in most programming languages. This should not give me 24. You should tell me that, well, it's not possible for me to multiply this by 3. But in JavaScript, well, JavaScript is somehow lenient because it compares the value, not the data type. It first deals with the value. It tries to check the value inside it. So what happens is, when you have the same scenario here, this will now check if a equals to 2, and since the value of a is 2, it will tell you that they are the same. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay. So to tell you that they are the same, and for that reason, it will alert hello. So what we want to do is, sometimes you want to check both the value and the data type, not just values alone. You want to check both the value and the data type. So for that reason, you can use the exactly equal to like this, or strictly equal to. The strictly equal to. This will check both the value and the data type. Don't panic, it ends at 3. There's no 4 equal to. It ends here. So this will check both the value and the data type and ensure that they are the same. So in this case, if you run this code, it's not going to alert hello. Although they are the same, they have the same value, they have different data types. It won't alert hello. And also, if they have the same data type but they have different value also, it won't alert hello. It won't. So the strictly equal to checks both value and data type. Any question? Can we move on?
Yes, we
Sir,
can
I have
move
a
on.
question, sir.
Yes, sir.
In using this if statement,
Yes, sir.
does it matter our sentences, as in the grammar, do they have to be correct before the statement can work, or just anyhow?
No, the grammar here needs to be correct. This part, because it's going to check the condition. Here we put a conditional statement here, and the way condition is like this. Maybe if a equals to this, if a is greater than this, if a is lesser than. If there is any error here, it will show it to the console. It won't work.
Okay.
It won't. Do you get it, sir?
Yes, sir, definitely.
Yes, sir. So we have the triple equal to. Next is, we want to look at the logical operators. Then we also want to look at Boolean. So let's first look at Boolean, then we come to logical operators. Remember when we did data type, I said Booleans are a Boolean is any that is either true or false. So if A is true, and I come here and I say if A equals to true, alert hello. Of course, since A is equal to true, this will alert hello. So let's assume A is false, and I say if A equals to 2, then of course it's not going to, because the condition is not met. Next, if I say if A equals to false, and I say alert hello, then it will alert hello since A is false and false equals to false. Now, please, I don't want us to pay attention here to what I'm about to explain. If I run it like this. So, with this, well, do you think it will alert hello or not?
I don't think it will alert hello
Sir?
because the condition, as is
So
from my own personal opinion, I don't think it will alert hello because the condition is not stated.
Okay.
It's just if A is an incomplete statement.
Statement. Okay. Now, let's run
for
it.
me, I
Okay.
think
Let's run it. Okay.
it will.
You think what? Before refreshing the page,
It-
you think what?
I think it will alert Elo because A is set to be false, and we are saying that's the Boolean value of A. So now, if it is value A, which has been called false, do this,
Okay.
and once it is false, it will not show. My
Okay.
thought.
Let's run it. It's not alerting hello. I will go deeper into the explanation now, but let's play with this a bit. If I change this to 2 and I say if A and we run it, it will alert hello. Now, if I come here and I put this in, let's say I set it to 5 and I say if A, it will alert hello. If I come here and I set it to 0 and I say if A, it will not alert hello. So what's going on? Let's go to the explanation proper. This is this. You see, all this thing will be writing. All this, if A equals to 10, everything will be writing here. Well, so to say, it's just like waste of time to JavaScript in the real sense of it. Let me explain what happens at the background. You see, in JavaScript, when you write if statements, and I come here and I say, let's say alert I. All JavaScript is interested in, I say all, everything is interested in is whether what is here is either true or false. I come again. When you write if statement like this, and JavaScript wants to run the code here, all it is just interested in is if whatever is here is either true or false. It's just expecting a boolean here. That's all. So once it sees true here, it will alert I. Let's run it. And once it sees false here, it will not. So whenever you now write a code like this, what JavaScript is going to do is to go to the background and convert the statement here to either true or false. If it converts it to true, is this statement true? Is A equals 10? I'm asking us, is A equals 10?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. So since this statement is
Yes, it's equal to.
okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So since this statement is true, at the background, it will just convert these statements. Let me remove this for now. At the background, it will convert it to something like this. If the statement here is true, it will just say if true. To convert it to something like this. I remember I said all it's looking for is either true or false. So it will just at the background it will convert this to if true. So if it converts it to if true, since we have true here, it will alert hello. Do we understand? Like I'm just explaining what is happening behind the scene. And let's assume we have this here. If A is lesser than 10. Is this condition true? No, this is false. A is not lesser than 10. At the background, it converts it to if false. So since we have false here, then it will not alert hello. Summary of this is that all JavaScript is looking for here is either true or false. So it's going to look take a look at the statement here and convert it to either of these two. If it converts successfully to true, it will do whatever you have here. If it converts successfully to false, it will not do it. Shall I understand?
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's
sir.
correct.
I'm getting a little bit confused. Now, if you look at the first code, if variable a equals 10, then if bracket open a less than 10, bracket close, alert hello. Now, the statement is how would I put it now? The statement is not true, as it because a equals 10, is not less than 10. I don't know if I'm correct.
Yes, sir.
A
This
is
one is
not
not
less
true.
than 10. A equals 10. So now going to the if statement, if true. Personally, I think, but what I think is that it shouldn't alert hello, because A is not equals 10. A is less than 10. So why is it now alerting hello? Why is it taking it as being true when it is not actually true?
No, sir. I said it will convert this to if false. It will convert this to if false because this statement is not true. This is false. So at the background, it's going to convert it to if false.
But assuming instead of false there we have true, will it alert hello?
No, I'm only explaining what is happening at the background. Not that we will write this in our code. No. No, we won't write this.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, sir. Sorry.
Yes, sir. So
Okay. Now I understand now.
at the background, it's going to do something like this.
Okay.
So if you take whatever is there and convert it to either true or false, if it converts it to true, then it will do whatever you have inside this curly braces. But if it converts it to false, it won't. So in this case, a is lesser than 10. The condition says if a is lesser than 10, this is false. So it will come here and say false. For that reason, it's not going to run the codes here.
Alert. Okay. Fully understood now.
Okay, sir. So let's now go back to what I was explaining the other time. So when you have something like this is just like saying if false. Since the value of a is false, this is just like saying if false. So if false, alert a. Of course, I said if once you have false here, it's not going to run the codes here. So for that reason, it won't. It won't. Any question? So let's run it on the browser. This one. And also, let's assume the value of a is 2. So this is like saying if so, it will alert hello. Do we understand this?
Yes, it is understood.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's now assume we have 4 here. And we say if a. Now, we need to convert this 4 to 2 or false. That brings us to something called truthy and falsy. Truthy and falsy. In JavaScript, everything is either true or false. Everything. Some things will be converted to true, while some other things will be converted to false. Whatever is converted to true is known as truthy. Whatever is converted to false is known as falsy. So the question is, what are those things that are converted to true, and what are those things that are converted to false? Now, just know something. Only few things are converted to false. So all you need to do is know those things that are converted to false. So anything aside those few things, they are truthy. Anything aside those few things. So let's look at those things that are falsy. So all you need to know is know those falsy things. Then every other thing will be truthy. So let's go. 0, false, undefined, null, empty string. Then I think I still have one more. 1, 2, 2. There are 6, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6. 0, false, undefined, null, empty string, and I can't remember, but it's in that textbook, the textbook I sent to you guys. Well, we'll check it out and get back to us. Or you can also check it out also. There are 6 things that are considered as falsy. Anything aside is 6, but in this case, I'm only able to remember 5 now. Anything aside these ones, they are known as. So in our next class, I will tell us the 6th one. Anything aside these things, they are known as total. Anything aside these 6. So if I say A is false, is among these 6. A is 0, is among these 6. A is undefined, is among. Oh, I can remember the last one. NaN, not a number. NaN. So these 6 things, they are known as falsy. Anything outside these 6 is known as total. So any of this now, if I put any of this, if I say alert hello, it will not alert, since it's considered as false, because at the background it will be interpreted as if false. Once I put any of this, let me comment this out. Once I put any of this and I run this, at the background it will be converted to if false. Do we understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's now look at something.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Let's now look at something more interesting, or a little bit interesting. This is total. This is not empty string, but this is falsy. I come again. This one, it has a value inside it too. It has something inside it. So this is total. But this one is falsy. It has nothing inside it. This little thing might cause you hours of debugging. This is total. Why this is falsy? So if I run this, it's not going to alert hello, it won't. Let's go to the browser. But if I run this, it will alert hello. So anything aside this now is known as total. So if I say if, let's say 10, since 10 is not among these 6 things, then it will alert hello. So we are done with total and falsy. Next, we want to go to logical operators. Logical operators. Don't worry, we are going to look at how to utilize this in our code. Like, instead of just teaching us the theoretical part, we're going to consider using it in our codes. Logical operators. There are 2 logical operators that we are going to consider: not, or, and. Not, or, and. Let's pick them one after the other. So for the first one, not, it's used to negate something, like opposite of something. So if I say in JavaScript, the way you write not is exclamation mark. This exclamation mark, this is not in JavaScript. So I can say if A is not equal to 15, alert hello. So with this alert hello or not?
It will alert hello.
Good. It will alert hello because this condition is true. The condition says if A is not equal to 15, and of course 10 is not
15.
equal to 15. For that reason, it will alert hello. Okay, let's move on. So not is used to negate something. Then if I say A is true and I say not A, will it alert hello or not?
It won't alert hello
It won't.
because not A is false.
Good. It will not alert hello. This is not true. So this is like saying if false. If false. Not true is false. Not false is true. Not true is false. Okay. So we've looked at the first one successfully. Let's check the remaining two, which is, let's start with or. What or does is this: or only needs one of the two conditions to be true. Let's say I want to buy something, and let's say food. So let's say I start to say I want to buy yam or beans. Yam or beans. So if there is yam, even if there is no beans, I will still buy something. I will still buy the food, because what I said is I want to buy yam or beans. So if there is yam, even if there is no beans, I will still buy the food. Then again, if there is beans, even if there is no yam, I will still buy the food. And if there is both yam and beans, I will still buy the food. Or only needs one of them to be available. It only needs one of them to be true. So if there is yam and there is no beans, I will buy. If there is beans and there is no yam, I will buy. But if there is no yam and there is no beans, then I will not buy anything. Do you understand how all works?
Yeah.
So let's do this in our code. So if A equals to 5, in JavaScript to write or, you use this. On your keyboard, you press shift backward slash. Shift plus backward slash. That is shift plus sorry. Sure, write shift and backward slash together. Shift backward slash. You press it twice. So if A equals to 5 or B sorry B is lesser than 20. So will it alert hello or not?
It will alert hello. One condition is
It
true.
will.
Good. It will alert hello because this condition
B is
is
greater.
true, even though this is false.
Yeah, B is less than 20.
Are we finding it interesting?
Yes, it is.
Yes, sir.
Let's move on. Next is, let's say the value of this is 50 now. Will it alert hello or not?
It won't.
It won't, because both conditions
conditions
are
are
false. Good. Will it alert hello or not?
It
It will
will.
alert hello.
Good. Will it alert hello or not?
It will.
Yeah. Yeah.
It will, yes. The fact that one of them is true means it will alert hello. So, and thank God both of them are even true. So that is how all works. So, in all, you can have 900, in fact, you can have 1,000 statements like this. Let's say 1. And the conditions can be like this. If coming B is lesser than 2 or C equals to 1. So these first two conditions are false. But the fact that one of them is true means that it will still run the codes here. The fact that one of them is true. So if 100 statements are joined together with or, if 99 of them are false, once one of them is true, it will definitely run the codes. Again, if 100 statements are joined together with or, if 99 are false, once one of them is true, it will run the codes. Check out this watch.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
So let's go to AND. For AND needs both sides to be true. It needs both conditions to be met. So let's assume I want to buy yam and beans. If I'm getting if there's yam and there's no beans, I won't buy any. If I'm getting there's beans, there's no yam, I won't buy any. The only condition that will make me to buy is there must be yam, and at the same time there must be beans. Do we understand?
Yes.
So all needs one, and needs both. So let's now remove this for now. So I can say if A is equal to 5, and in JavaScript to write and you press shift 7, like ampersand sign twice, you write this sign twice, and this is and in JavaScript. So if A equals to 5 and B is lesser than 20, that's L. So will I say L or not?
Yeah, you will see. It will alert Elo because the two statements are
Good.
two conditions
Thank
are
you, sir.
correct, or the two
It will
statements are
alert
correct.
L because both conditions are true. But once one of them is false, then it will not. This will not alert L. One of them is now false. So let's now combine conditions together. The or and the and everything. So let's bring into C. So or C equals to 2. So if we run this, would this alert L or not? Let's look at this together. Is A equals to 5?
Yes.
That is 2. Is B lesser than 2?
No.
That is
False.
false.
No.
Is C equals to 2?
Yes.
That is 2. So how bring us to something called truth table to make it easy? Well, me looking at it, you can look at it and come up with an answer, whether this or this and all of that. But then I think the truth table will make your work so easy. If you run this will actually alert Elo. This will. It will. But the truth table will make your work so easy. So let's look at the truth table together. Let's first deal with I think is this. So when you have 2 or 2, the result is 2. When you have 2 or false, the result is 2. When you have false or 2, the result is 2. When you have false or false, the result is false. 2 or 2, 2 or false, 2, false or 2, false or false, false. Let's look at the AND. When you have 2 and 2, the result is 2. When you have 2 and false, the result is false. When you have false and 2, the result is false. When you have false and false, the result is false. So for or, only 2 or 2, only false or false will give you false. For or, only false or false will give you false. Every other thing will give you 2. And for and, only 2 and 2 will give you 2. Every other thing will give you false. Do you get it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if a shorter way, another way to look at it is, you can say 2 is 1 or is plus, and first is 0. So this becomes 1 plus 1. This becomes 1 plus 0. 1 plus 0 is 1, which is 2. 0 plus 1 is 1, which is 2. 0
1.
plus 0 is
0.
0, which is first. Of course, this will give you 2, but then since you are dealing with just 1 and 0, so you can say this will give you 2 also. So 2, 2, 2, first. Then for and, you can say 1 is 2, 0 is first, y and is multiplication. So 1 times 1 is 1, which is 2. 1 1 times 0 is 0, which is first. 0 times 1 is 0, which is first. 0 times 0 is 0, which is first. Whichever way you can get this to quickly understand it, you can just utilize it. So whether you can just know that, oh, when I'm dealing with this, once I'm dealing with or, only 2 first will give me first. When I'm dealing with and, only 2 will give me 2, aside that everything is first. So let's now go back to our task. So you start from the left hand side. 2 and first. From our 2 table, we know that 2 and first is first. Let's look at the table. 2 and first is first. So these parts, meaning this and these 2, is giving us first. Then we are now saying the result of this, which is first, or 2. First or 2 is 2. So at the end of the day, the final result is 2. I hope you understand. You start from this, 2 and first. 2 and first is first. Then, or 2. First or 2. First or 2 is 2. So at the end of the final result is 2. So meaning that it's going to alert hello. Show you what.
Okay.
Is it confusing?
Not yet.
No, it's clear.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you,
It's
sir.
clear.
Let's move on. So there are some other times when you might have something like this. Something like this might change your result a bit. So let's do that together. Remember, bracket first. So it means that this becomes, what is A equals to 5? Yes. So, and then your bracket. Is B lesser than 2? That is first. Or is C equals to 2? That is 2. So meaning you have to first execute these brackets. This becomes 2 and whatever the result of this bracket is. So whatever the result of this bracket is, what is 4 or 2? 4 or 2 is 2. So this becomes 2 and 2, which is 2 also. But note that sometimes introducing bracket like this might change your answer in some instances. It might. So instead of starting from this part, you first deal with this. The result of this now, you now combine it with this. So we are done with the part of the if statement. Let's move on. Please tell me if it's getting too much. Next is we want to look at if else. If else. Let's look at how if else works. If else. Variable A is 5. If A is equal to 7, we want it to alert hello. But of course, since this condition is not so, A is not equals to 7, we know that it's not going to alert hello, right? It won't. It won't. Now, there are some instances whereby you want a situation where if this condition is not so, you want it to do something else. if this condition is to do this, but what if it's not? Instead of not doing anything, you want to do something else. So that brings us to the if else. Should I write the else part? So you can write it like this. Okay. So if this condition is true, then it will do this. If it's not true, it will do what you have in the else. So in this case, maybe you want to alert I. So if it is true, it will alert hello. If it's not true, it will alert I. So let's go to the browser and see the results now. So we have I. It will only do one of the two. It will only do what we are, either what we have here if it's true, or what we have here if it's false. Another way to look at it is, if what we have here is true, it will do what we have inside this part. But if what we have here is false, it will do what we have in the else part. Do whatever we have in the else. So that is how if else works. If it is true, it will do this. If it is false, it will do the else part. Let's move on. We want to look at the if else if. Okay, let's first do some task with this if else before we now move on to the if else if. If else if. Let's do something very small. Delete all of this. So we can say click a button. Let the button be big. Then I can say, let's say, I'll start with this. Make it big. So when I click on this button, I want to change what is inside it to no. So you can come here and say, and click, change it here. So create a function. And written. Then I want to change what you have inside this button. So I will give this button an ID. I can call it btn. So that becomes btn dot inner text equals null. So when we click on this button, the contents, whatever we have inside this button, we change to no, which is fine. But what I want to do is, if I click on it again, I want to change it back to yes. So meaning that it needs to first check what is inside it, whether it is yes or no. Like I just refresh the page now. So it needs to first check what is inside it. If it is yes, to change it to no. And if it is no, it will change it to yes. Do we get what you have to do?
Yeah.
If it is no, it change it to yes. If it is yes, it change it to no. So each time I click on it, to check what is inside it. So since it is no now, once I click on it, I want to change it back to yes. So let's do that together. First thing, you need to first check what is inside this, whether it is yes or no. So we can say variable btn content equals to btn dot inner text. So first thing, when we click on this button, we are saying get whatever is inside this btn and save it as variable btn content. So we can now say if btn content if is equal to yes, change bt change you can even change it directly anyway. You can say btn dot inner text equals to no, else, meaning if it is not yes, if what is inside btn, if btn content is not yes, then do what we have here. Let's put this on a separate line. Else btn dot inner text equals to yes. So let's see how this works. When we click on this button, it's going to call on this function. Then it will get, first thing, it will get this btn
The
dot
current
inner text. It will save it as variable btn content. It will now check if it is yes. If it is yes, it will set no inside this place. But let's assume this condition is not so, meaning let's assume it's no. Then it will do the else. It will change it back to yes. So let's run it. When we click on this button, since we have yes inside it, it's going to change it to no. So let's run it. Now when we click on it again, this condition will no longer be true because it's not yes. Instead, it will now this condition will no longer be true. Instead, it will now do the else part. It will now change it to yes. Now when we click on it again, this condition is true again. We now have yes inside it to change it to no. Then when we click on it again, this condition will no longer be true because it's now no. It will change it back to yes. Any question?
That's clear.
Okay. Now, assignment.
Do you give us assignment?
You said?
I said it is clear till you give us assignment.
Yeah, you will get it. You get it. Let's do something like this. What's going on? I think. Okay, let me stop sharing. I will pause the recordings for now. Okay. Can we see my screen?
Yes, sir. Bulb and on.
So, when I click on this on, to put on this bulb. When I click on this off, it will put it off. On, off, off, off. So let me give us an hint. The two bulbs are actually pictures. So when I click on this button, I will just change that picture to another picture. When I click on this, I will change it to another one. So they're actually two pictures, but maybe they are different. They are of the same size. So it's as though the bulb is going on and off. But in the real sense, the bulb is not really going on and off. I'm actually changing the picture. Then note that I'm using one button to do both the on and off. Please, you need that also. I want you to use one button, not two buttons. Not one to put it on and another to put it off. When you start working on this, you might first, if what you can quickly do is to put two buttons, you might start with that. But when you are done, you need to find a way of making sure that a single button is the one doing that. Any question?
Please, can you help us to send the two images of the bulbs?
We should.
As in the images of the bulb.
Okay, I
Since we
see
need
any two images of bulbs on Google. I just these pictures were just on Google, but then send it. Okay, maybe I'll send it to Google also. I can.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
Any other questions?
No,
God will help
no
us.
question for now.
Okay. Alright. So it's actually a simple assignment. When you start working on it, you'll see how simple it is. Thank you very much. In our next class, we are going to look at the if else if, and the if else. But for now, let's do this. Have a lovely night rest, senior developer.
And you too, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Have a lovely night
Thank you,
rest
Pastor
too.
Will.
Prof.